He can't feel pain. There's no brain in there. Sorry for the lengthy setup there. Like I said, my desk is a disaster because I kept moving capture cards and trying out a bunch of different HDMIs to try to get this fucking thing to function.
By the way, Johnny boy, there's a game on the Nintendo DS called Nostalgia. Nostalgia no
This is the start of a shitpost.
Which plays kinda like Final Fantasy X. It's kinda neat. It's like what if Indiana Jones lived in the world of Final Fantasy VIII and Edward Elric was his son.
This isn't going to work on me. You can't make me play more fucking Game Boy RPGs.
As I run a Sensei Mill and play Pokemon Heart Gold.
Enjoy yourself. I see what you're doing, Oswald, and it's not gonna work.
Dr. Cortex, to reach full power, we need not only...
I'm on to you.
but also the remaining 25 slave crystals from the surface. How do you expect to retrieve
Oh, sorry. Let me be quiet for the enthralling plot of Crash Bandicoot 2. The voice acting is very nice. The N-Sane Trilogy is really good. I have very few problems with it. And the problems are not big enough that it is not now my preferred way to play the games themselves. So, whatever. Not a big deal.
Make yourself useful, big brother. And
For how ugly Engine was. Yeah, okay, so he's supposed to be ugly, obviously, but I know that the redesigns for Crash 4 are a bit contentious, but I have grown so accustomed to them now that when I look back at the N-Sane Trilogy models, I'm like, ew. They're weirdly realistic in comparison, and it's a little gross, to be honest. So it's gonna take me a moment to readjust. Crash's weirdly shiny shadowed eyeballs. Yes, the music is very good all around. So, no particular reason that I decided to play the second one today. It's not like I like streamed the first one another time or something, or I have any significant issues with the third one. The second one is just my favorite. Has been since I was a small tot. This is up there with Sonic Adventure and Kingdom Hearts 2 as games, like the most played games for me ever. I have played this game a truly unhealthy number of times, both on the PlayStation and in the N-Sane Trilogy.
We will speak again.
I could not have been more excited when this N-Sane thing happened, and then eventually we got Crash 4, and then Crash Team Rumble murdered every ounce of goodwill that they had managed to accumulate for themselves, and now Microsoft owns them, and Vicarious Visions is stuck making fucking Diablo 4 or whatever. It's very gross. Leave it to a giant corporation to fucking throw everything away. We'll see what happens, because Toys for Bob did leave right around the Microsoft acquisition. And it looks like, supposedly, so the rumor is that they were working on what would basically be Spyro 4. I don't know what it would be called, or what, if it would actually be called that, or what would happen. But they appear, according to, I believe, some LinkedIn posts, to still be making whatever they were making, because they are still using IP borrowed from Microsoft now for whatever their next project is.
Microsoft reloading their pistol with a thirst for blood.
There we go. Yeah, we don't even talk about the Tango Gameworks shit and all that. That's a whole nother can of worms.
Toys for.
So long, Bobby. What do they do now? They're still working for Microsoft, but as like freelance. That is to be my understanding. They just don't directly work like for Microsoft. Like they're not under Activision Blizzard King or whatever. However that is structured now, I'm unfamiliar with the situation, how management will be going. I just know Bobby Kotick's gone, and I mean good, but given everything we've seen from the Microsoft Xbox leadership lately, gonna hold back on cheering that one maybe. Honestly, not bad. Guarantees they won't be fucked out of layoffs. Yeah, I saw plenty of meme about Toys for Bob getting away just in time.
That there wasn't going to be a Call of Duty this year, but partway through the year they figured out that they wouldn't be able to retain players that long, so the MW2 map pack that they were going to release for the year mark became a full game.
As a person who's very much into COD, yes, that is absolutely what's going to happen. What was going to happen, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let any suit try to convince you that that is not the case. Modern Warfare 3 was absolutely 10,000% a map pack for Modern Warfare 2 that was stretched into being a full game because Modern Warfare 2 was doing so fucking terribly around the middle of its life cycle. They were like, oh shit, yeah, this is not gonna hold people for another year, we gotta do something. You cannot convince me that is not what happened. We'll see what happens with them, with COD, considering Treyarch is up next. You know, the Black Ops people, if you're unaware, who, I mean, their track record's not perfect, but it's better than what's been going on with, like, Infinity Ward lately. And they have had more time to develop their next COD game than any other COD game has ever had. Like, they've been helping with the other games, obviously, you know, helping out the other studios. But if you don't account for that, they've had like 4 years of development time for this game. So between that and the Microsoft acquisition, we'll see what happens. I hope it's good, but, you know, they kind of abandoned Modern Warfare 3 after the Season 1. Especially the Zombies mode, dear God. Wait a minute, that's a Chaos Emerald. Cold War was pre-pandemic. Cold War was mid-pandemic, or like right near the end of it, because Warzone was during the pandemic, and that's why it caught on so hard. That was one of the big factors.
Well done, Crash.
Because, you know, a lot of people didn't have anything to do but sit inside and play a free video game that they could easily play with friends.
During the course of my intellectual
and they've been desperately trying to recapture that Warzone success ever since then, and failing miserably.
The crystals are the only means of containing it. The fate of the world is
what was that third crystal there? Oh yeah, I suppose I could talk about the video game for a moment instead of just complaining about Activision Blizzard. So, if you are unaware, Crash Bandicoot is a linear stage-by-stage platformer. There are extra collectibles that you can get within each stage. The crystal, the purple thing, which is required for game completion. They're basically unavoidable. They're in the middle of your path every single time. If you don't collect them multiple times in a row, Cortex will get increasingly frustrated at you, and it is funny. But I don't want to beat a level 4 times in a row, just for a goof. But you should look that up if you've never seen it. You have the clear gem, which you get for breaking all of the boxes within a level or completing some sort of extra challenge, like a time trial or something. Then there are colored gems, which there are 6 of in this game. 5. There are 5 of them. they all have a weird gimmick in how you collect them. Like for this one, you might have noticed, the way I got the blue gem was by completing the first stage without hitting any boxes at all. And the other ones all have their own special, unique thing. You need to collect all of them in order to get the true ending. The one that leads into Crash 3. So if you were a child who wasn't good enough at the game to get all the gems, you would be very confused at the beginning of Crash 3 because it assumes that you got all the gems and got the true ending. Confused young John very much. What about the little onks? So those are new isn't really the word to use. Those are new to Crash 2. So the onks are called relics. Once you've completed a stage, you can play through it again in a time trial mode, where some of the boxes will be replaced by yellow boxes that stop the timer and all that. They don't do anything in Crash 2 because Crash 2 did not have them originally. They were introduced in Crash 3, but the N-Sane Trilogy retroactively added them to Crash 1 and 2. The only reason to collect them is for bragging rights, because there is a leaderboard, though I'm sure it's hacked by now. And the trophy that you would get, or Chivo, whatever you want to call it, depending on your platform. Yeah, they come in 3 flavors. A sapphire one, which, like, basically, if you just beat the stage without dying, you get the sapphire one. It's not hard. It's basically free. The gold one, which can range from easy to decently challenging, and that is the one that counts towards percentage and the trophy. You don't actually have to get all of the next level, so you only actually need the gold ones, and that can still be pretty tough depending on the stage. Then there are the platinum relics, which are, I guess some of them are easy once in a while, but a lot of them are notoriously difficult and basically require flawless speedrunner tier runs through a stage. Thankfully, the game does not they never require that of you. There's nothing, you don't get anything for having all of them. They are exclusively bragging rights. I do have all of the gold ones and most of the platinums on the PlayStation version of this, which was the original one before they ported it later to other systems. I've got the platinum trophy and all that. I'm not playing on the PlayStation version because for some reason, even after the PS4 Pro, even after the PS5, the game never got a 60 FPS patch on console. It's locked at 30 FPS with incredibly strong motion blur. So, yeah, I'm playing on my Steam Deck, so I can play it at 60 FPS.
As long as you are allied with Cortex, you are my sworn enemy, and I will do anything in my power.
Remember, the levels of Crash 2 were not designed with speedrunning in mind, so some of the relics are not good. Yes, there are 3 particular stages that took me, like a day each to get the gold relic on so I could get the platinum trophy on PSN. There are a couple levels that have timed obstacles that are spaced and positioned in such a way that, yeah, they're not conducive to speedrunning at all. Pretty sure hackers figured out how to brute force 60 FPS on modded PS5s. Yeah, I'm sure. Like I'm sure the PS5 can handle the game at 60 FPS. It's just a matter of they never did it. All right, so there we go. We got our little timer down there. Remember I told you that there are clear gems that are sometimes based on gimmicks? This is one of them. Some of the stages have these little time trial things. Just gotta beat the stage fast enough without dying, and you will get yourself a free extra clear gem. You only get, if I remember, it's been so long. I'm not like gloating. It's been so long since I failed these. I think you only get one go at them, and like if you don't hit the timer or you die, you have to exit the stage and come back in. I don't think it'll re-trigger. Oh, I'm an idiot. I hit a checkpoint on my way here. Hold on. We gotta finish the level normally so I can come back and get the box gem. Twinsanity is my favorite Crash, deserves to be completed someday. You got no idea, friend. I love Twinsanity so much, even in its...
This is inaccurate. Hippos are too dense to float.
Call him up, tell him. Complain. Leave a message. But Twinsanity is an amazing game that is 50% complete. I wish so desperately they would let Traveler's Tales go back and finish that game and give it like a remake treatment.
Crystals, not bad.
I'm going to find it quite funny. John is having an easier time when playing Crash than with Sonic. Yeah, well, Crash has some tough stuff, but it is not as demanding for its 100% as Sonic is. Just like Spyro Enter the Dragonfly. God, I don't even know if I would give Spyro Enter the Dragonfly the 50% completed. Oh, there's the time trial thing, by the way. You hit the clock, that starts the time trial. I don't even know if I'd say 50% for Enter the Dragonfly. The game's got like, what, 9 levels? You can clip through everything straight to the final boss. The game runs at 10 fucking FPS.
Crash had a clean transition into 3D.
No, I see more people talking about Twinsanity. Twinsanity is great. Twinsanity is genuinely very, very good. As long as you play along with it. And as long as you understand what you're getting into. That it is a total unfinished disaster, but it is fun. Basically, anytime physics come up, the game becomes a frustrating nightmare. Like there's some ball puzzles and stuff like that. But other than that, it's serviceable if a little awkward to play. It's very, very well written. I would say like Crash has always been like humorous because he's based on like Looney Tunes cartoons and stuff like that. But Twinsanity feels like the start of wow, that was pathetic. Depth perception. Twinsanity feels like the start of Crash being like outwardly funny and like telling jokes and trying to be comedic. And it does a pretty good job for the most part. It's very self-aware and meta before that was a thing everyone was fucking sick of. Like Twinsanity came out in like 2005 or something where like meta irony poisoning had not, everyone wasn't sick of that shit yet. It jokes about how Wrath of Cortex like sold poorly and stuff like that. There's a bunch of missing sound effects and cutscenes. Yeah, a lot of the cutscenes are very quiet. Because they're just missing sound design because they just did not have time. It's an admirable effort. You can see Twinsanity's cut content is pretty well documented. Fish. its content's pretty well documented. I think Game Hut, I always forget his name, but the guy who worked at Traveler's Tales, has talked about it and shown some stuff off. Yeah, tons of levels, tons of concepts, tons of story stuff. Multiple different sequel ideas that were in the works that got scrapped. It's a tragic story. Ooh, thought I was gonna hit that, but no. Elite gamer skill. And the acapella OST. So that's just another crazy thing that I liked the music as a kid, but I didn't really appreciate it. But as an adult, I can appreciate more, is that there are no instruments in Crash to Insanity's soundtrack. It is entirely acapella the entire time. And it still manages to have an absolutely amazing soundtrack. Wrath of Cortex blowing their money to get big celebrities to voice like 3 lines of dialogue still kills me. Yeah, they got like fucking, they got Mark Hamill, they got, I don't remember his name, the guy who played Biff in Back to the Future. For characters who unironically have 3 lines of dialogue. Cause it's PS2 launch game, we gotta get it. It's gotta be big. It's gotta be next gen. Yeah, the one guy who voiced every, what's his name? I don't remember his name. Yeah, he was the drill sergeant in everything ever. Arlie Ermy,
think of
right.
That soundtrack without imagining a stormtrooper pelvic thrusting.
Again, I guess I could talk about the game again for a moment here. I like what they did with this stage here, and that is they changed the lighting. Might have technically always supposed to have been at sunset originally. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back. It's been a while since I played the PlayStation original. But in order to differentiate some of the stages, they messed with the lighting a little bit, so they look a little more unique and not just like, you know, a bunch of reused asset sets. All right, now we have to do... Okay, this is a thing Crash is famous for. And it is, like, one of my only issues with this game. I love this game so much. I can't think of any big problems, but this is one of them. The game has not yet shed the Crash 1 problem of forcing you to go back through paths with the camera facing away from you yet. It baffles me that the N-Sane Trilogy did not do something about this, considering it's such a widely recognized issue with these games, but I guess they're preserving the experience or whatever. So there are like 3 spots in the game where you have to do this and just slowly inch towards the camera so you don't fall into a hole and kill yourself. Was not going fast enough to slide. Okay, no, we got everything. Just had to make sure. Can we get your review of Crash Purple? That was my review. Crash Purple. I played it a lot as a kid. I've never played... Okay, so I've never played Spyro Orange. Not for, like, hatred of Spyro or anything. I love Spyro as well. But... I thought I saw a box there. It's been my understanding that Spyro Orange is somehow like significantly worse than Crash Purple, which is already a mediocre minigame collection. So they had this whole big thing. Oh my God, Crash and Spyro, because they were like, you know, the big PlayStation mascots at the time. Well, slightly before the time, I guess, before they started getting, they got bought out and all that. So it was like a kind of like a Mario and Sonic thing, like, oh, these big mascot characters, let's see them team up or something. And unfortunately, what we ended up getting was a minigame collection, which is funny if you stop to think about it, because that's exactly what ended up happening with Mario and Sonic. They just ended up getting a fucking minigame collection. So it's poetic that way. Crash Purple is fine. It's just like a bunch of weird versions of classic arcade games, like Tubin and Space Invaders and shit like that, with some admittedly okay platforming stuff in between, but it mainly focused on the minigames. I'm not a fan of it at all, despite having played an unhealthy amount of it as a child, because I just loved fucking Crash Bandicoot so much. Even though there were two actual good Crash Bandicoot games to play on the Game Boy Advance. Hey John, haven't played this game in a long ass time. Is there a reason you can't backtrack down whichever path you just cleared until you get to the fork, then go forward down the other path? You could. You still have to remember where all the holes are. Like, you might have the enemies cleared out, but the holes are kind of the issue. You can do whichever way you want. There's no reason you can't. Less than fun fact, my first Crash game was Mind Over Mutant for the DS. I am unfamiliar with that particular version of that game, though I am familiar with the game itself. And I will tell you, as a gigantic Crash fan, that even when I was... How old would I have been when Crash started dying? I don't know, I must have been like 12 or something. Something like that, I genuinely don't remember. Crash of the Titans and Mind Over Mutant were very disappointing to me even as a child. Turning Crash into this weird, half wannabe edgy tribal tattoo beat-em-up guy. Absolutely not acceptable. Unacceptable. I will say though, much like I said with Twinsanity, obviously they're not as good as Twinsanity. The writing is basically the only thing that holds up from Crash of the Titans or Mind Over Mutant. Mind Over Mutant especially has...
So were you two a PlayStation child who went to Dreamcast for some reason?
I've never been like one console.
Hey, he got it better than Bomberman did on the 360.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say something. I should not have said it. There are few people who got done worse than Bomberman on the Xbox 360.
But John, haven't you ever wanted to jack people as Crash Bandicoot?
Nah. Okay, go through my thoughts in order. Mind Over Mutant has really, really cool cutscenes that are all animated in different styles.
Oh, I see how it is.
And that are genuinely
tell
funny.
John about this Indiana Jones RPG and he's like, hey, who'd want to play Indiana Jones? Nerd. And now he's running through the Temple of Doom?
Nothing gets by you. So yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Mind Over Mutant. 2, I was never really a console kid, like, with a fanboyism towards one or the other, because I've said this before, everyone in my family plays games, including my parents. Like, they were playing games before I was born, so like, I grew up and I had a Genesis and a Super Nintendo. I had a PlayStation and a Nintendo 64, because my parents would buy them because they played them. So I was never one for console war shenanigans, even as a lad. Yes, I'm very lucky that my parents still play video games all the time. I have a 3DO, like because my dad had a 3DO. Keep in mind the 3DO was like $1,000 when it came out. Didn't you say you were playing COD for Mother's Day? Yes. I believe I've mentioned this on stream before, but my mom absolutely fucking loves Call of Duty. She started playing it with us when Black Ops 2 came out. And she got absolutely hooked on it.
How come you got awesome parents? All I got was a mom who went to prison for tax fraud.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm seeing people reveal terrible things about their childhood in chat, and I want to apologize. What's a dad? Oh shit. Oh shit. Hold on, hold on. We're good. We're still good. I can salvage this. Okay. There we go.
No, it's fine. Laugh, you'd feel worse if I told you the whole story, but that was meant to be funny.
Oh shit, sorry, I was just going through because I couldn't read chat because it was boss time. Wow, did you have a Neo Geo? I did not have a Neo Geo because, again, my parents are into video games, but my dad in particular he plays dad games, you know?
The first Crash game that I properly remember playing is Crash Team Racing for the GameCube and loving every minute of it. I was a Nintendo kid and it shows.
It's okay. The second Crash Nitro Kart is alright. It's not as good as Crash Team Racing, the first one on PlayStation, which I think is the best kart racer ever made. But it is alright. Yeah, no, my dad is like, he'll play shooters and like sports games and car games.
We get a Cop Dad stream with Power Wash Simulator.
The crystals can absorb and contain.
Like the games he's been playing for the past few years is
Crash, is that you?
GTA Online and The Division 2.
You have to be careful.
Are we
Trust in
sharing our
Cortex
mental
seems a little
scars?
unwisecrack.
Should I unrepress my
I think
childhood
you
trauma?
think
I have enough for everyone.
Well, yeah, you gotta
Dino
share. If you're gonna bring trauma to class, you have to bring enough to share with everyone. But so this is a feature they added to the N-Sane Trilogy. It's just a neat little thing. You can play as Coco, Crash's sister. There is zero gameplay difference between them. They feel exactly the same. It's just a little extra thing that was inserted. She's got her own idle animations and stuff like that. Just neat little details.
Wait, sorry, it was Tag Team Racing.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry now. Now I feel bad for another chat member.
Winning the alternative.
She does not let go of the laptop. Laptop remains secured at all times.
Bandy, crying face.
My parents gave me paper skin and glass bones. Did they ever do anything with Crash's girlfriend after the first game? Not until Crash 4. And even then, that's not technically her.
Coco actually has utility in challenge runs because one of her idle animations can trigger an explosion above her, breaking boxes.
I have seen that. I have seen the... I forget who it is. The guy who, like, can you beat all the games, all the N-Sane Trilogy games when all the boxes are nitros and shit like that. So there's technically a difference. It is not an actual, like, actionable, normal gameplay difference. But I guess there is technically a difference because of their idle animations. She was in Crash Team Racing, I think. She was in Nitro Fueled, yeah. Oh, gotta remember, it's not the original Crash 2. Physics are different. This is one of the other... Again, it's not a problem so much as a change. The way ice physics function is entirely different in the N-Sane Trilogy compared to the original. You store momentum very strangely. And as someone who played the original for, like, you know, a bajillion fucking years, sometimes my muscle memory kicks in. Wow, I'm having a hell of a time here. How do I feel about ice physics in my side scrollers? I mean, if it's not these shitty ice physics, I'd probably be okay with it. Once again, John takes an L. I don't normally mind ice physics that much. Like when they're in Mario and stuff like that. I think it gives a nice slippy sense of speed, if done correctly. Who's the Tiki man that was behind me? Oh, I don't know if you're just getting me to talk about things or you're just setting me up for a bit, but I forget that, like, there are people who actually haven't played these games because they're pretty old. Magical Tiki Man is, well, he was retconned out of what he was originally. Originally, Aku Aku was a witch doctor mask who was, like, being controlled by some guy somewhere on an island who's not an actual physical character you ever saw. And then he was retconned into being, like, a cosmic god of some kind. Like some kind of guardian spirit. I'm seeing a lot of Akus in chat. Not quite. He's just your extra hits. You get 3 of them, you're invincible for a bit. Can a KNI John lore get retcons like that? Oh, we'll see. Cross your fingers.
Are you looking forward to the TTYD remake coming out this month?
I am looking forward to it. It's just a matter of...
He's your Sly Cooper Lucky Horseshoe.
That I've never played Sly Cooper. Sorry. I am looking forward to it. It's just a matter of when am I gonna play it? We just played Thousand Year Door not that long ago. So as much as I think it would be an interesting thing to stream, I do not want to subject people to another 30 hours of Thousand Year Door.
Blasphemy.
We have Super Paper Mario to get to. That's what we'll be doing after Sonic. What we'll be replacing Wednesdays with. Yeah, I gotta come back to this level anyway. There is also backtracking in this game, and just in general, kind of. You'll see what I mean. I didn't upload the Thousand Year Door VODs yet. I was going to do those after Battle Network 4. Okay. I guess I should do the thing. I don't really need the lives, but... Yeah! I'm thrilled that they kept this in the remake. It seems like the kind of thing they would have removed or, like, changed into a different Easter egg. But that's in the original game too. It's okay, he no think. He can't feel pain. There's no brain in there.
He had it coming. I've died so many times because of that little fucker.
Welcome to my Let's Play of Crash Bandicoot Run. Turns out it wasn't closed down. I've been hiding it from you the entire time. I'm gonna ask you to surrender your wallet now so you can get some boss materials if you want to continue watching. This is auto-scrolling, by the way. I'm sure you can tell, but in case you can't, it is auto-scrolling. So if you miss a box, you just have to die and go back. Not really a problem here, but there are 2 more levels like this in this style, and those ones can be significantly more annoying to get all the boxes. Lots of memorization. I have a question. Do you actually play Honkai Star Rail, or is that just a bit for the Star Force vid? No, that was me playing Star Rail. Like, that was my file. I have played Star Rail, yes. That was footage I captured.
It already costs me $1 to have a partially one-sided conversation with you, John. I think that's enough.
Make me feel bad. But yes, I do play Star Rail. I hadn't played since like October. I had just fallen off of it because the grinding just got to be too much. But I just started playing it again right near the end of first anniversary. Thoughts on Crunch Bandicoot? One of the characters of all time. I really got nothing to say. His initial appearance is fine, where he's just kind of like a big, angry dude. He's not really interesting, and it's kind of annoying that they replaced what could have been a bunch of cool, interesting bosses with one guy in different colors. Not a fan of that. And then he's okay for like Nitro Kart and stuff like that. A couple other games he appears in. And then when like the Crash Bandicoot haha meta era kicks in shortly after that, he becomes pretty annoying and insufferable because they just turn him into a one-for-one Mr. T parody, which even at the time was a weird reference to make.
It costs me 50 bits to force people to hear the strange thoughts inside my skull, also my jokes.
And we all appreciate it. Mostly me. Is this real? You mean me explaining this character? Yes. He's basically just Crash Bandicoot but buff. If you've never seen him, like, picture Crash but, like, DeviantArt got a hold of him.
If anything, John should be paying us. We write half his material.
I do appreciate it. I could not stream without chat. I don't have that many conversation topics and ideas within me. I'm too anxious of a boy.
He's the Knuckles of Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. Like, for those who don't know, Crash lore. So Cortex, the bad guy of the Crash games, giant yellow head man. He is like Dr. Robotnik who didn't commit to the bit. Instead of turning animals into robots, he just makes strong animals.
1,000 bits for you to hear my musings. Stare at me and my empty wallet in there. That's looking down on Knuckles.
I mean, Knuckles is, yeah. No, I don't think it's a hot take that Knuckles is better than Crunch Bandicoot. Okay, so hold on, I was talking about Cortex. Why does Cortex have an N on his head? Well, we would have gotten games that discussed that if the Twinsanity devs got their way.
Say the gamer word?
It appears to be going by Twinsanity. That's just like a thing that occurs when you go to evil school.
Sorry, I meant Boom Knuckles.
You go to an evil school, which is one of the levels in Twinsanity, and like, I guess one of the requirements is that you get an initial tattooed on your forehead, or bolted to your forehead, depending on the design, because sometimes it's a giant metal plate screwed to his head. Oh, what a suspicious room. Why, oh why, would there be a path that's nothing but a bunch of nitro crates? And you know, come to think of it, the entrance to this level did say that there was a green gem here. So I don't know, maybe if we just... There we go. There's quite a few secrets like that. Yoink. Whoop. Hold on. Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, okay, we timed that right. Again, dude, I could just die if I wanted to, but I have the two Aku-Akus I'd like to save. So you don't technically have to go through this part backwards. This is not one of the mandatory backwards sections I was referring to.
So gem hunting in this level is a blast, huh?
Chat, you slay me. What's the point of electrocuting the water if Crash can't swim? That water is waist deep. Crash actually can exist in this water. See? I know it doesn't look any deeper than the water in the previous level. That's the other levels that had water. That's an N-Sane Trilogy visual direction choice that it makes the level look nicer. In the original PlayStation games, those like river levels we were on with the jet board, that water is completely black on PlayStation. You cannot see through it. You can't see like the riverbed below. So when the N-Sane Trilogy upped the graphics so that you could see the riverbed, you realize the water's like a foot deep and Crash really shouldn't have much of a problem swimming in it. But he dies anyway. I will take the enhanced visual clarity and better aesthetic in exchange for a little bit of gameplay weirdness.
Mr. Nigjon? Nigel smugged Nigel check.
No. There are, you know why? There are, I will point them out when we get to them and explain why. There are 3 levels in this game that make me say no.
Now thinking about characters, check, do you like the Crash's girlfriend's classic top-heavy design or her bottom-heavy redesign? Nigel excite.
They really did. They really took, they really decided to take a stab at both ends with Tana. So we're not at the level that causes the time trial woes yet, but it is in this sewer style, and I'm sure you might already be able to tell from these climbing bars and these little floating guys that move along a pattern on the climbing bars where the issue might crop up in the future. Did Cortex create Coco? Oh yeah, I was talking about the lore of Crash Bandicoot. I forgot that. So Cortex, he makes super smart animals to lead his armies because I don't know if there's a lore reason for that. Honestly, he might just be an idiot. And Crash was supposed to be his super bestest general leader guy, and failed horribly. Crash is next to brain dead.
10 of 25.
And decided he's not gonna have that
You're
shit.
on your way. I'm running low on power, so communication from this point will be difficult.
So it's funny because it kind of has a parallel to Sonic's original, like, American and European backstory, where the bad guy and the hero, they create each other. And then Coco just appears off screen. Again, Cortex creates her. The flashback tapes in 4 might explain it. It's been a long time since I played those. Because I believe Coco is playable in some of the flashback tapes. So basically, it's just, well, Crash fucking failed. Let me try this one. And he made one who was super smart, but still didn't like him. Also Embryo was there. Crash is too dumb, but Coco is too smart. Yeah, I think that's the idea.
He had the same problem Plankton did. He forgot to turn on the obey switch.
Get some BFBB representation.
Wait, Crash's real name is Oakley Morris Bandicoot.
His real name is Willie. There's making friends and there's making friends. Cortex is bad at both. Wrong trigger. What? How do I not remember which trigger is to fucking save? Oh, cutscene attack.
Good show, Crash. The Komodo brothers obviously lacked your mettle. But now's not the time to get cocky. There are still many crystals to
So to give you an idea, I guess we talk about the plot of this game.
The world.
So they keep talking in case you weren't hearing it earlier, because I was saying some dumb bullshit that probably had to do with old video games or corn or something. The plot of this game is that Cortex is like, "Hoo boy, Crash sure kicked my ass."
Cortex can't even remember if Nina is his daughter or his niece. Which means he's either fucked or has a sibling. I'm not sure which I want to see less.
I think the original implication was that she's his daughter, but like he wanted to hide that for some reason. I don't know. Again, Twin Sanity is half finished. So the plot is he falls down, he finds these power crystal things. He's like, oh boy, I could sure use these to turn more animals into bodybuilders or something.
Sonic and Coco is Tails, but with uterus.
But he's like, well, Crash already killed all my guys. And the ones I have left are too dumb to handle this. I know, I have an idea. I'll just ask Crash to do it. And that works for some reason. If you are meant to infer that Crash knows what's going on and he's just fucking with him, or Crash is just that dumb and gullible that he believes Cortex turned over a new leaf and is genuinely trying to help people. Who knows? But, so we're collecting crystals for him regardless. Hey guys, I did that thing again where I hit one of the checkpoints, so dying will not reset me to where I need to be reset to. Oops. Don't have the Aku Aku, so I need to come up here and kill these guys ahead of time because honestly, I don't think you can get through that without getting hit otherwise. Maybe you can if you like time it perfectly, but I've never been able to get through there without getting hit. You look at Crash and you tell me he knows anything about what's currently going on. That's a good point. Do you think games should still ask if you want to overwrite a save slot at this point? I feel like most people are pretty certain when they want to save. I appreciate it in a game like this, where there are only 4 save files, and I believe one of them is an autosave in the N-Sane Trilogy. I think they should ask unless your game has like a shitload of save files.
Shows some intelligence in Crash 4. Not a lot, but some.
Crash shows intelligence in like, it's usually in like a devious way. In like again, he's supposed to be like an old-timey cartoon character. In like a Bugs Bunny, haha, Wile E. Coyote, wink wink sort of intelligence. Like, watch me do this mischievous bullshit. Crash fluctuates from a self-aware goofball to 100% completely brain dead, depending on the situation and what game it is.
Toon logic, Crash can do anything as long as it's funny. Didn't you watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yep. That means Crash has access to the Toon Force, which means he's stronger than Goku. Crash Bandicoot is a gag character, and therefore he solos Superman.
Alright, can someone here explain to me why Dingo Dial was playable in Crash 4?
I don't think Toys for Bob could explain to you why Dingo Dial was playable in Crash 4 and why he had a vacuum. No fucking idea. I like him in that game. He's funny. He's a fun character to be there. They let him curse, which is strange. But very fitting for his character. But no, I don't know why he's there. I don't know what possessed them.
He thick and he suck.
He's dangerously thick. People in chat who don't know what we're talking about Googling Dingodile and then getting very confused. Honestly, Dingodile seems like the kind of person who would curse in this universe. Yeah, it's completely in character. It's just surprising. Yeah, he is an Aussie.
Think about this now, there were a lot of thick furries in Crash 4.
There sure were. What an adventure it was. Fucking idiots on the internet complaining, oh my god, they censored Tawna's design and then they gave her an absolute dump truck ass. Uncultured fucking heathens. Learn to appreciate what you got. Oh. That was not a slide jump, which is what I intended to do. Well, good thing I got that yellow gem just a moment ago. Crash 4 is the best video game that you should never complete. That is, I see someone talking about, people talking about Crash 4. That is my opinion on Crash 4. Oh. I have two Aku Akus, I'll continue. But you don't actually have to play this gem path, if I recall correctly. There's nothing else here. Like, there's not even any boxes. I'm pretty sure you can just die and go back to the main path at this point. I don't think you have to finish the rest of it, but... Why no complete? It's because it's hell on earth. Completing Crash 4 is a little bit like what I imagine trying to thread your dick through the head of a needle would be like. And even then, that might have like a lower difficulty curve.
You can't just face tank your problems away, John.
Watch me. Crash 4 is not only... Crash 4, for starters, I know I've talked about this before, and if you've been on stream to hear this before, I apologize, but I'm gonna go on this rant again.
You mean your cop?
Exactly, my apologies. Crash 4 is a game that is ruined by obnoxious weirdos on the internet complaining that N-Sane Trilogy was hard. If your dick has a difficulty curve, a doctor can help with that. Fuck. Crash 4 is difficult. Crash 4 is stupidly difficult. 10 times harder than any other Crash game. Hands down, not even a contest. Before you even get to the 100% completion part. And I am convinced that is because, I'm sure many of you remember, that people had this big problem for some reason when Crash N-Sane Trilogy came out, and that was a bunch of people complaining that the game was too fucking hard. Now, I don't want to discount anyone's opinion or belittle anyone's life experience, but if you think that the Crash Bandicoot games, specifically the first 3, are like genuine, like try a level 100 times Dark Souls levels of difficult, maybe Elmo's Number Adventures for you. I don't know what to tell you. Like, unless you have like a disability or something, or some kind of motor function difficulty. That's perfectly understandable. But if you are a 100% functional, physically human being, you should not be having a hard time with these games. There are some hard parts, for sure, especially in the first game. I would argue the first Crash game can be pretty tough, but the N-Sane Trilogy's improved controls smooth a lot of that out.
Thank goodness! I hacked into Cortex's computer and found detailed schematics for an improved Cortex Vortex and a suspicious-looking space
So not a
station.
game journalist
I'm not
then.
sure,
But it wasn't even like, yes, it was also some game journos from like GameSpot and stuff. But like normal people, there are like just like regular people on the internet convinced the N-Sane Trilogy is super fucking hard.
TLDR, if you think Crash is the Dark Souls of platformers, get good.
I guess I hate being a difficulty snob.
The complainers want the difficulty to be as smooth as their brains.
I fucking cannot stand like people who like get mad at difficulty settings and like won't shut up about how they beat Dark Souls 47 times are like some of the most obnoxious people on planet Earth. I want to hurl them all into a fucking comet. But like I just genuinely don't understand how you, unless you've never played anything but first-person shooters your entire life, I don't understand how you could possibly think these games are impossibly difficult. I just can't understand it. It genuinely confuses me. So, the point of that little tirade was to point out that because Toys for Bob saw a million things saying Crash is hard, Crash is hard, Crash is hard, they got it in their brains.
So they thought the N-Sane Trilogy was too hard, so they made Crash 4 even hard?
No, here's what I'm getting at. Hold on, follow my train of logic here. Why the fuck would you make a Crash Bandicoot throwback game super difficult unless you had the perception, for some reason, that Crash Bandicoot is a super hard series of video games? Where could that perception possibly have come from? The reaction to the N-Sane Trilogy. So my theory, as it has been since Crash 4 launched, is that the overreaction to the N-Sane Trilogy's difficulty convinced Toys for Bob that Crash Bandicoot was supposed to be a hard franchise. So Crash 4 is what people who are bad at the N-Sane Trilogy thought the N-Sane Trilogy was. That's basically what I'm saying. So, welcome to another dimension. Actually not. We're down by the islands from Crash 1. This is the secret warp room. There's 5 portals. There's not technically 5 secret levels. Some of these just lead into secret sections of previous levels that you backtrack to so you get to get all the boxes and gems and stuff. What am I talking about? A little more context, please. I'm talking about how hard Crash, talking about how difficult Crash 4 was and how I think it was a result of overreaction to the N-Sane Trilogy's perceived difficulty. And it's far too much of an overcorrection. I like Crash 4. I think it's the best controlling Crash game, for sure. I think the controls are amazing.
I'm so glad they made this area accessible in the remake. In the original, even if you've been here before, the only way in was by going to a secret level.
Oh yeah, so that's the other thing about the secret warp room. In the N-Sane Trilogy, you could just go there on that little platform that I used to go through the other warp rooms. In the original, you could not do that. So if you needed to go back to the secret warp room for whatever reason, you would have to go find one of the secret exits again. That was their thing. Well, let's do this, actually. Let's not touch that. Just had a weird moment. Does the voice actor for Coco voice Jimmy Neutron? Yes. Debbie Derryberry, I think her name is. Yes, it's the same person. Same lady. So if you're like, hey, Coco kind of sounds like Jimmy Neutron, yeah. Can you agree the bridge levels in Crash 1 suck? The bridge levels in Crash 1 suck in the N-Sane Trilogy. They're difficult in the original, but they're consistent enough that I don't have a problem with them. In the N-Sane Trilogy, the changes to, like, I guess more realistic physics make some of the platforming, like, unnecessarily annoying. Especially when you're trying to... Especially when you're trying to get the relics. We're trying to get the time relics. Do people just get super panicky when they have to play a game where you have 1 hit point by default? I guess I've never really thought of it that way. I mean, that's entirely possible. I've never considered that. If you get panicky when you have 1 hit point, go play Crash 4, where I swear to God, there's like 4 Aku Aku crates in the entire game. Oh, there's a no. There's a no death route in this level. I forgot. I don't remember if I could still get the normal one. Let's see. Cannot remember if that's just for the extra gem or it's for the boxes as well. Let's find out, because this might have been a complete waste of time. Let me hydrate the pain away. Thank you. Yeah, fittingly for a series about based on old-timey cartoons, there are a lot of okay, I can at least get the regular gem here. There are a lot of like common cartoon voice actors in this game. Well, there's one more gem. Should have been able to get both of them, but I am a stupid. Back to business. Hello, Gamer Zero. Welcome to Crash Time, or John complains about how people feel about old platformers. John calls everyone a scrub hour.
John, you are far smarter than most corn.
Thank you. Let me see. I believe the N-Sane Trilogy removed this. Yeah, they moved it too far. This is an alternate path you have to come in through later. However, in the original, if I recall correctly, you could just get over there with a proper spin jump, which is another thing I could explain. So you might have noticed that when you see me jumping a lot of the time, I'll do this. Crash does not do that naturally. Like, you know, he just has like a normal high jump like that when you slide. However, I'm so glad they kept this in the N-Sane Trilogy. Be this originally intentional or a quirk of how the game is programmed, if you spin right as Crash is taking off from a slide jump, you will get an extra little bit of height off of it that you could use for a lot of little extra stuff and little sequence breaking things and stuff like that in the original. Most of that was fixed in the N-Sane Trilogy, though you can still do this. You still do it, you still use it to get past some stuff, like those holes with the moles in them from those earlier stages we were playing near the beginning. Normally you'd have to sit in those holes, you'd have to kill all the little guys, you'd have to wait. But if you know to do this little spin jump, you could just get out of all of them immediately. So that's why I do that. It's just muscle memory.
If you tell Crash he's a helicopter, he'll believe you.
Glitch or feature, let's find out. That's the thing, I don't think it was intentional originally, because again, you could use it to break the game in multiple spots and get things before you were supposed to. But I do like that the N-Sane Trilogy kept it around. I didn't know John was a Crash expert. This is one of the games I'm like good at. There's not a lot, but I've played a.
I want everyone to take a moment and imagine an alternate universe where Crash and Spyro switched composers.
I'm sure. Now I'm curious. I'm sure someone has to have done videos like that, right? Like style switches for Crash and Spyro music. I'll have to look that up. Sounds interesting now that you mention it. What a weird, pointless little thing. Crash expert, Sonic expert, is John a furry? No, I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. That's what we played back then. We played furries. Is that or Dragon Ball? We'd switch between the two.
What a weird, pointless little thing, days John to his future child.
You know how I feel about children. hydrate. Oh. How'd I manage that one?
Trash. Where you fucking belong.
I was talking to chat. Oh, wait, is it on the route after the death panel? Is that how I missed it? That might be it. Yeah, there it is. There was my mistake. I forgot to go back and grab it. I do wish they would have improved the depth perception a little bit on some of these sections, especially like these forward sections in these ruin stages. Some of the depth perception can be pretty nasty, especially when you get to the later one and there's like moving platforms and stuff. Wait, does John punch kids now? No. I root for kids to get punched. I don't do the punching myself. I stay legally safe that way. Oh boy, more running away from the screen.
We at Nijom do not condone child violence. We do, however, find it hilarious.
Precisely. It's weird that this is like...
John, that's not exactly an improvement.
Legally speaking. It's a large one. But, this is like a thing Crash is known for doing. Like, he's known for being orange, and he's known for running away from things towards the screen. Which is funny to me, because these are, like, the worst levels most of the time. Simply because of how heavily they rely on memorization. I don't think it's good... I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's fine. And I've played it enough to know the basic layouts so it doesn't bug me. But I can understand why it irritates people. Also, you guys like how I knew to kill myself in that one specific spot and it would bring me to a secret area?
John went to the Prometheus school of running away from things.
That's another one of those weird little secrets. I can't tell you how I found most of these secrets is the thing, because I found them out when I was but a small child. So I cannot tell you how I found these, but I did find almost all of them on my own and naturally. The hint for that one that makes you feel like you should check is one, well, there will be shit in this level that you don't have, and the level is a straight line. So clearly there's got to be some kind of secret somewhere. And two, most of the time, when those platforms break, when the boulder, the bear hits it, all the little spikes will shatter. The little boards, I mean, will shatter into splints. But that one, like, very curiously leaves behind exactly 3, so... It's enough of an indication to a rotten 5-year-old brain that something might be weird. When you're willing to try anything. It's not the most clever one. It's, I don't even know if I'd argue it's good game design. There is one little secret like that I think is, like, actually very smart. Not the green nitro one. I think that one's pretty clever. I think most people could figure that out from the earlier sewer level, but there's one in the next world that took me many, many years to realize, and I felt stupid when I finally realized that it was a secret. Ooh. Shouldn't have tried to spin out of that. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. See what I mean? He's planning. There's... Man, not entirely brain dead. There's something going on in there. And it makes me slightly uncomfortable. Fun fact, try to cheer something Twitch deems too offensive to even be displayed in chat. It eats your bits and doesn't display your message. I know sometimes with curse words it won't read it, but I didn't know it would just... There were things it would just eat entirely and not send. Jeez. So. This is another one that I definitely figured out as a kid. Just because it's one of those things where, you know, when you're a kid and you play a game, you're like, you want to go everywhere you feel like the game doesn't want you to go, right? So, oh, hey, back there, I could probably still reach that. And indeed, you can. And look, our buddy is back here waiting for us. And would you look at that? That's a kind of proper curiosity rewarding secret. This suspiciously phallic-shaped part of the terrain seems to be telling me something.
Crash, my boy. You are more than halfway there.
I forgot you could even
But I'm sure
get the transmissions in the secret warp room.
Harder. The last 10 crystals will be the hardest to gather.
I don't know if I've ever seen that happen in the original game.
Our enemies will be sending their strongest forces to thwart you. I'll contact you again when you have completed the next warp room.
All right, so here we go. This is an original stage for the secret area. This one is...
The inner machinations of Crash's mind are
an enigma. The secret levels have no crystals at all. They only drop more gems. So this one is a bit better in N-Sane because I'm sure you can see the sort of gimmick here is that it's dark. In the PlayStation version, it's not shadowy like
Crash,
this.
I dropped my keys in the next level. Can you get them? Thank you. Love you, Crashy.
There wasn't like this weird shadowy fog or whatever. It's pitch black, like hard cut pitch black. You cannot see shit. It makes, especially considering there's some nasty-ass jumps you have to specifically dash into and stuff like that. Getting all the boxes on this can be quite irritating on the original. Not to say it's not irritating. Now, regularly, this level is an okay challenge. Getting the relic on this stage is not one of the super hard ones, but it is pretty annoying for two reasons. One, it's just kind of a hard level, and you can't see and all that. And two, when you're doing the time trial relics, you need to make sure you're hitting all the boxes that slow down the timer. As I just explained to you, hitting all the boxes normally can be a bit fucking annoying due to the weird dash jumps, and sometimes you jump over them and stuff like that. So this one will probably take you a few tries to get a decent relic time on, but it is not as bad as some of the later stuff. You ever have gimmicks where you can't see what you're doing or can't control what you're doing? I think I'd rather have not seeing over not controlling. I don't like when games fuck with my controls. Like, give me reverse controls and stuff. I hate it. This part's weird. This has bothered me ever since I was a kid. I was hoping there was some kind of like beta version that would explain it or something. There's just this little area down here for no reason. There's nothing here, even in the original game. I don't know if something was cut or something. Maybe this was a real stage that got demoted into a secret stage or something like that, so there would have been a secret there for an extra gem. Don't know. One of those little things.
John would rather be blind than have Parkinson's. Confirmed. You just going to finish this game tonight, or you going to go for some time trials?
Just finishing it. Just doing a normal ass run. Might come back for time trials, for another secret stream at some point. But I don't know, I was watching some Kid Icarus videos and I just really wanted to play this game because it's been a long time. I mean, a long time for me not playing the original Crash trilogy is like a couple months tops. I play these games all the fucking time. Like Crash 2 specifically is just one of those games it's one of those games you can just put in whenever. Or like if you're having a bad time, just play, turn your brain off. Gotta trick this idiot into falling off the platforms. That's the gimmick here. Crash 3 is also very, very good, but someone started talking about this earlier and I didn't.
He got infected with Cash Banoka and had to spread it to us.
There we go. Like I said, I prefer Crash 2. Crash 3 suffers from an issue that all platformers started suffering from going into like the early 2000s, and that is that they cannot stop shoving fucking gimmicks into every other stage. Every other stage is a vehicle or a shoot 'em up or some other nonsense. Fuck. Goddamn depth perception. If Crash 3, the way I view it is that I think Crash 2 is a better overall game, but I think Crash 3 has better on-foot stages. The problem is
John takes an L.
The on-foot stages are only half of Crash 3. The rest of it is the bike, or the jet ski, or shooting things in space, or the underwater levels, which... the other stuff I can at least tolerate. I cannot tolerate the underwater levels. I fucking hate them. They're so boring.
Finish the stage with reverse controls in under 30 minutes.
Don't be throwing no weirdo indie game challenges at me. Oop. Oh, no, that did get him, okay. Crash 2 only has 2 gimmick stages, and I think they're fine.
As I was saying, you are resting and getting dopamine reserve for you know what comes next, right?
I'm actually curious what you're referring to. When I know what comes next. Squints eyes in suspicion. No bees. No bees yet. They're in this warp room, but we're not there. I'm reminded of Spyro 3, where the reason that all these characters is because Insomniac felt they did all they could do with Spyro 1 to experiment. Yeah, Spyro, I feel the same way about the Spyro games. You know, love the Spyro games to death. My favorite one is the first one because it's the only one that doesn't have any bullshit. I like my platformers to be platformers. I don't want your vehicle bullshit. Keep it away. I don't want it. I don't want it! Not N-Sane Trilogy, next projects, I mean. Oh, yes. Yeah, just needed a break from Battle Network 5 post-game and all that. And then I need to get started on Legends 2. So here you go. There you go. See that right there? That's why this is one of the worst levels to speedrun and get the relic. Took me 4 or 5 hours just to get the gold relic, not even the platinum. All this dumb, weird, awkward climbing shit in these levels is just, ooh, not good. It's not even fun.
But John, the dragons on a skateboard ain't that wacky.
The Spyro games have some okay minigame stuff. There's some fun minigame stuff for sure. I agree. The problem is there's way too much stuff that is not.
What, not going to do the misadventures of Tron Bonne before Legends 2?
I know. Everyone wants me to do it. I'm just not. I should. It's just like I'm just not really interested in playing, like, from what I've seen of it, it's like some kind of management minigame collection thing.
It could be worse. There could be invisible walls on these ceiling grates due to some misaligned edge vertices.
Oh, yeah. Imagine if there were weird invisible walls here that fucked you over. Imagine.
But John, waifu.
But chat member. She's what, 14? I see someone mentioning glide. You better not be. No glide in my fucking chat.
There is some of that, but the main gameplay is the Legends third-person shoot for about 3/4 of the game.
I don't know. I'll look. I'll consider it. Yeah, John, but how old were you when the game came out? How old would I have been when Misadventures of Tron Bonne came out? Like 5, maybe? Don't know. Didn't play it back then. Still haven't played it. I said before, like, I just assumed, before I actually played Legends, like 2 or 3 years ago, I just assumed Tron was older than she actually was. Seeing her in, like, Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff like that, I just figured she was an adult, and it made her Mega Man liking very unsettling to me. But it's less creepy when you know how old she's actually supposed to be. Don't leave me behind, buddy! One sec, I was just reading through some chat stuff. There we go. Okay. Sorry, couldn't get the chat to start scrolling properly. Wow, I don't even know what I just did there, but something with buttons. And it wasn't good. Alright, now this part, they try to fuck with you. You want to run ahead and smash all of these so you don't waste your Firefly buddy before you grab him. However, I don't know if this is coming across on stream, but unlike the PlayStation version where, again, this would be just pitch black, if your brightness is up high enough, like, I can see the platforms in front of me. I can see the Wumpa Fruit, I can see everything. That's just another N-Sane Trilogy thing, just to how there's real lighting now instead of, you know, fake PS1 lighting. Why did I think I could spin those guys? I think it's because they're not as dangerous looking as they were originally. In the original game, their, like, frilled collars are, like, glowing lava orange. Like, hey, do not touch these.
Darkness within darkness awaits you, Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, I didn't point out before when we did the bear level, because these secret levels only have a gem. If you don't get all the boxes, you just get nothing. There's no reason to play them if you you don't collect all the boxes first. I see people mentioning the robots and legends thing, and that is the robots and legends thing is weird because carbons and technically everyone's kind of a robot. Unfortunately, Legends died off before they really started getting a chance to dive into any of that stuff. Legends has like a shitload of lore that they just don't get to do much with because the series ended up getting canned. And they wasted too much time in the first game. The first game has basically no lore up until the final 20 minutes of the game, where it has all of the lore at once in a long, unbroken exposition dump with terrible audio balancing that you probably can't fucking hear. No, Carbons, they seem to have tried to, like, retroactively explain carbons when the ZX games came out. Because in ZX, which takes place still a while before Legends, they start, like, humans and Reploids start becoming closer in the way that they are made up to, like, quell inequality and all that. Like, okay, no more immortal robot people. Robot people have to die now. And also, humans, like, you need an oil change. There you go. We solved robot racism. I don't like Legends being the future of X and ZX. That's my only issue with its lore. I mean, I guess. I have seen people, like... I have seen a few people who, seem to be upset by it. But it's, I guess, to me, it feels like... kind of like Breath of the Wild, Where, like, yeah, I don't like that Breath of the Wild is, like, ultra far future Zelda, that, like, everything that happened in every other game is so far removed and doesn't matter anymore. I don't really like it, so I can understand the feeling. This part's broken. I was waiting so I could discuss this. This, as far as I know, is the only part of this game that is just, like, 100% absolutely broken in the N-Sane Trilogy, and they haven't fixed it. I've tried a couple times as I've played this game. Like, I don't think you can do this correctly. I always get stuck. I don't know what it is. It's like I'm hitting the background or something. So even when I manage to get here, you can't do the jump normal. You have to, like, fail and then come back and do what I did, where you slide. You can't just cleanly hop up. And it's the dumbest little thing to be frustrated by, that I can't just speed through and just hop up and just... It's my little autistic brain getting mad at a tiny inconsistency. Zelda timeline? Yeah, okay, so... I guess we'll talk about this. Tears of the Kingdom spoilers, potentially. The game's a year old at this point, if you haven't played it. Tears of the Kingdom feels like it is actively telling the Zelda lore people to go fuck themselves. It feels like the entire story was designed with the purpose of telling people who care about the Zelda timeline to get bent. Breath of the Wild was already weird, but kind of possible to explain away. Shit, it's so much shit in Tears of the Kingdom is just... The only way I could explain Tears of the Kingdom is that Tears of the Kingdom is still in the future, but is also like an alternate universe. Like, there's just things that happen that you cannot possibly square. I have not heard any convincing theories to square some of that shit away. Fuck off, bees. The timeline is dumb and unnecessary. If Nintendo would stop teasing it, I would agree with you. But you can't keep implying there's a timeline, and then whenever people try to timeline shit, you fuck around just to, like, troll them. Fucking, you gotta go backwards. There's the fucking bees. I think Nintendo's hostility towards the idea of lore is just kind of outdated and annoying at this point. I know there's people who don't like lore. I get it. Haha, yeah, I know. But I'm not even saying games need to have super deep lore to be good, but Nintendo is, unless it's Kirby. Okay, I think that's what pisses me off. Like, the one franchise they're super 100% absolutely cool with having a solid timeline and lore is fucking Kirby for some reason. Every other franchise can get fucked. I love Kirby, but it's weird that that's the one mainline Nintendo series that gets to have consistent lore and world building. Like, I will still never... Like, it's not...
There is also Xenoblade, actually.
Like, that's... It sounds dumb to say, like, Xenoblade isn't a Nintendo franchise. Xenoblade is just an RPG that Nintendo happens to own the company that makes them. You know what I mean? That's not me discounting Xenoblade in any way, but like the only game I can think of recently is like Splatoon. Splatoon gets to have lore for whatever reason. Splatoon is like the one Nintendo game that I think people would have been 100% okay with not having lore. And they gave it lore and like constant story DLC expansions. They just don't, they pick the weirdest shit. John, Xenoblade is first party Nintendo franchise? I mean, of course it is. But like if the Xbox event in June ends with them announcing a new Crash game, I'm not gonna be like, oh sweet, a new Xbox game. No, what? You know what I mean? Metroid, you have to have games to have lore. Dread had a little too much lore and continuity with Fusion, so much so that it just halted the entire franchise, and now Prime 4 is never coming out. It broke their brains. Yeah, Star Fox. Look at Star Fox. Star Fox has so much like lore and world building that they were doing, and then like Nintendo just keeps giving it up to do Star Fox, Super Nintendo Star Fox again and again and again. Just the same plot repeatedly on loop.
Crash, I haven't got much time. Cortex has almost completed the new space station. Something's not right with his statements. Beware the tricks he's trying.
I think, we talked about it earlier, we started talking about other stuff. I think the thing with the Zelda thing and the reason it bugs people when Nintendo, like, tells the timeline to get fucked is, for the longest time, like, in, like, the late 90s to mid-2000s, they did care about that stuff. Like, Ocarina of Time through Twilight Princess are, like, super directly connected to each other. Even Skyward Sword, it wasn't until Breath of the Wild around there where they started getting weird about how they were doing timeline stuff. Like, I think it would have just been easier to have, like, classic games as a timeline, the handheld games as a timeline, and then, like, the main 3D games as a timeline. I think that would have been infinitely easier, and that's probably what they should have done in the first place. Especially because Nintendo didn't make a bunch of the handheld games. Weren't most of the handheld games made by Capcom? Even Tears of the Kingdom references Skyward Sword several times just to fuck with us and tease the lore still there. There was an interview that just came out for Tears of the Kingdom's 1-year anniversary where they just said, like, yeah, Skyloft was supposed to be in the skies above Hyrule, and then we just ended up not putting it there. It blows my mind that Skyloft is not in Tears of the Kingdom. Or at least, like, you know, like the ruins of Skyloft. I kept expecting to see it while I was playing the game, because how do you have an entire game about going up into the air? And there is famously an airborne island that has never been able to be
Now,
accessed
there is
before.
a strange point where Star Fox apparently is set in the same universe as F-Zero.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's canon anymore because they wiped the timeline again with Zero, but that was canon. F-Zero and Star Fox are in the same universe. I see someone, and I agree with you completely, Gamer Zero. Monolith Soft and Nintendo feels like Atlas and Sega. Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't mean to be, like, rude, but, like, I'll be talking about Sega games, and people say, like, well, what about Persona? Like, what about Persona? What do you mean? This shit doesn't count? That's not what I'm talking about. Sega just owns the building. Not gonna bother 100%ing this level. This level, if you know this level, Cold Hard Crashes is infamous. 100%ing this level is a complete shit show. You have to like backtrack it multiple times. You have to play a super hard part twice over. It's not worth it, considering I already missed other stuff anyway. We're just gonna keep going. Fuck this stage. Getting all the boxes is a nightmare. Don't forget how every Persona 5 spinoff is just the plot of Persona 5 again. Oh shit. Hold on. Sorry guys, it's just chat's going faster than I expected for crash time. Someone was saying something about how the Persona lore is bad. And I think, and other people are saying it now, I don't think it's that, the Persona lore's biggest problem is that they kind of want to imply that Persona 1 and 2 still exist, but like don't actually want to ever actually do anything that involves referencing Persona 1 or 2, because then people ask them to re-release it again, and they don't like that. I mean, supposedly the success of Persona 3 Reload has convinced them to go back and do something with those first two games again. First three games, technically. We'll see. Oh, I never got that trophy on Steam? Weird. Wouldn't be a stream without a Chivo, I suppose. So I'll take it. That was sad. That was sadder. Oh my. I got thrown off by Roxas's giant text wall. Was that our first?
John takes an L.
Was that our first woe? I should have had a woe counter going. Can we talk about how that animation somehow convinced the population that "whoa" is Crash Bandicoot's catchphrase? Let's see here. Planet Sega to make Like a Dragon, Persona, and Sonic annual franchises through spin-offs and new titles and remasters and stuff. Yes, yes, yes. I did see that stuff. I mean, they're kind of already doing that to Yakuza. Yeah, just release like 4 games in the same 365-day period. Whatever. We got some no more Sonic shenanigans coming with Sonic. What did it end up being called? Sonic Rumble? It's not called Sonic Toy Box like the leaked shit was. They changed the name. Sonic Fall Guys. Hey, it's the Battle Network guy. Oh, well, hello. That's me. Welcome to the stream. Weird stream today, and also weird stream day. We don't normally stream on Monday. I just felt like streaming. I forgot this one just moves the platform over to the side a little bit. Come back on Wednesday or Saturday for normal scheduled stream shenanigans instead of weird one-offs like this. Yep, that's some fucky perspective. I told you guys. I told you guys these ruined levels would be bad with the perspective. There we go. Okay. Not quite, fucker. I was ready for you this time. Get out of here. Speaking of Sonic, I've been watching Sonic Prime lately. I still have not watched Sonic Prime. Okay, come on, camera, cooperate with me. There we go. Like, I'm sure I would enjoy watching through it. I'm sure it's fine. But every time I'm like, hey, how's Sonic Prime? And everyone's on it. People seem to be pretty mid on that show. I've seen, like I said, I've seen good clips. I've seen what they consider pixel animation. I've seen what they consider pixel art, which is genuinely an insult to any sprite animator out there. I cannot believe how bad that shit is. It's almost impressive. The vibe I get from Sonic Prime is Sonic Prime could have been like a 12-episode, one-season show that was stretched into 3 seasons for some reason. I can also say, even as someone who has not seen the show, that it is inherently disappointing just by virtue of not delivering on the concept. Because if you remember when the Sonic Prime stuff first started leaking, it was like multiverse Sonic TV show meeting different versions of all the characters, and the response was like, oh my god, holy shit. Like a whole bunch of different characters from different Sonic stuff meeting up. And no, it's just like Sonic characters, but pirates. Sonic characters, but Tarzan. What? Why would you waste this concept? What? Whoa. Not sure what just happened there. That's basically what killed my interest. I was hoping for some kind of like actual celebration crossover thing, and it was just multiverse for the sake of being a multiverse show. There was really no purpose behind it. Yeah, Spider-Verse, but Sonic. But at least most of the Spider-Verse characters are from something. To be fair, I don't think Sega wanted to acknowledge Archie and DC stuff. Oh, I'm not one of those people. Oh, wow. I didn't even bother you, little buzzy bitches. I don't think they want to acknowledge Archie and Deke stuff. I'm not one of those people who is still on this fucking copium train that Sega will ever acknowledge Archie ever again. Like, I think people need to get off that. Like, you gotta understand, in Sega's mind, that's just that thing that they got sued over. Like, that's all that is to, like, Sega higher-ups, I'm sure. I don't think they care about the legacy of Sally Acorn and fucking Rotor. That was convenient.
Did mentioning Archie cause that? What about Knuckles' dad?
What about Knuckles' dad? This is the second time Knuckles' dad has been brought up this week. Okay, so here's that part I was talking about, where it feels like a genuinely clever thing. You got this shit right here. All these Nitro boxes all stacked up. However, you will have noticed throughout the rest of the game, Nitro boxes bounce when they're stationary. These boxes all never bounce, no matter what. They're fake. Leads to a teleporter. Took me years to realize that's where the secret was in this stage. Very cool. Man, I am just having a bad time in this level. But we got the gem. So we're fine. We got what we came for. John's a witch, burn the witch. God damn it. What is wrong with me? Oh, I'm having such trouble on this stage. There we go. I managed to solve that horrific bottomless pit. What a devious puzzle. On the topic of mainline Crash games, what is your take on Wrath of Cortex? So funnily enough, my take on Wrath of Cortex is almost identical to my take on Crash 3. Not quality-wise, but in terms of the problem. I think the on-foot stages in Wrath of Cortex, barring that one where you have to slowly climb for like 2 minutes at the start of the stage, which is unacceptably bad, I think the regular platforming stages are fine. I think they're fun. I genuinely enjoy them. However, that is less than half of the game in Wrath of Cortex. Wrath of Cortex is no joke, like 60 to 70% gimmick levels. It's just the ball and the Jeep and the fucking weird flying firefly thing and the worst water levels in the whole goddamn series. It's, as opposed to Warp's gimmicks, which for the most part are just kind of annoying to, like, actually kind of fun, Wrath of Cortex's gimmicks are unfucking bearable. Also, the boss fights are shit, but I talked about that earlier. That's why someone a while ago, I don't know what happened with it, someone was porting and recreating Wrath of Cortex's regular stages into the N-Sane Trilogy. And I think that would be great. Like, I think the regular stages are perfectly good Crash levels, held hostage by the other 60% of the game, which is not good.
By Dr. Nitrous Brio, the inventor of the Evolvo Ray. Brio was responsible for our misunderstandings in the past.
He died of the lava in the goal room. No, that's just aesthetic.
He will attempt to stand in our way.
Seems like the kind of thing an old game would do, but no. Wrath of Cortex looked at Warp and said, "Yeah, I could do worse." That's what happened. Oh, I didn't point it out before, because we weren't really listening to the cutscenes, but there was some static in there, and there's been some static earlier. So they did re-record all of the lines. However, some of Cortex's lines referred to old gameplay mechanics. So instead of, like, rewriting the lines or something like that, even though they were reread, they just cut to static. So, like, in the original game, you couldn't refight the bosses normally. You had to do a button combination thing to refight them. They didn't have, like, a portal you could enter. You would just get on the disc here in the middle, go up, the boss would spawn. So anytime Cortex mentions getting on this platform and trying to spawn the boss, they just cut to garbled static noises. It's such a bizarre choice. I think there's also a line where he mentions the original save system, which was removed and just replaced with you pressing a button and bringing up a save menu, where they did the same thing. All right.
But John, don't you love the Elementals and the Ancients and the Lost Land?
Just keep making shit up. I'm convinced you're lying to me, even though I've played all those games and I know what you're talking about. All right, so the gimmick with this one is that Crash inexplicably now has a Wumpa Fruit throwing power that replaces his spin. At least the N-Sane Trilogy gave him an animation. He didn't have one originally. They would just eject out of his body at high speeds, which is funnier, but... so we're just doing this instead. It makes like a weird sort of shoot 'em up thing. You have to break all the parts of his robots. I think it's an okay boss. I think maybe the parts have a little bit too much health. Maybe the Wumpa Fruit goes a little too slow, but it's not annoying like Engines fight in Crash 3 can be, which just kind of drags on way too long and just sort of becomes a weird bullet hell kind of thing. It's basically the exact same boss, except you're in a spaceship, so it's more annoying. Oh shit, forgot about this. I was wondering what the fuck he was doing. Come on, you fucker. Break, I have to hydrate. There we go. Ah, there we go. Boy, nice.
I know applying realism to Crash Bandicoot of all things is ridiculous, but pieces of fruit are tougher than fucking metal.
Shit's acidic. Look at that pink. You ever got pink all up in your phone? Oh. That has way less health than I remember it having. Well, almost done. Engine must have some sub-Eggman tier tech if fruits can break off parts of it. Don't worry, the fruit gets much more extreme in the next game.
What is your problem, Bandicoot? I will not ask you again to bring me the crystals. Obtain the remaining 5 crystals, Crash, and bring them to me.
Genuinely scared me when I was a kid. I think a part of it is also that he looked creepier in PS1 graphics, but man, poor little 4-year-old John was genuinely terrified of Cortex. This is one of those traumatizing game over screens. Why did Engine make his Metal Gear weak to fruit? Is he stupid? So, this is another one of those 3 stages I mentioned. And the other one is just another stage styled in this exact same style that's here. That is an absolute unbelievable nightmare to get the gold and platinum relics on, because, well, here you go. There's the #1 culprit of these pistons. They are perfectly timed to completely fuck you over when you are trying to do the level quickly. They can crush you, so you gotta watch out for that. You've got these little woobly woo guys who you either can't touch the side or can't touch the top, depending on where they are in their animation cycle. So if you don't know when and where they move, they can hit you up pretty bad. Also, just the fact that we're near the end of the game now and levels are just getting harder in general. Also, weird hitboxes like that. Just like that, yeah, that's, The level is also decently long. Perfectly fine, cool level on its own. It's just trying to time trial it that makes it an absolute nightmare. That took me hours and hours and hours. But I wanted that platinum Chivo, damn it. I forget that they had to remove all the stock sound effects. I hear the scientists die, and it does not give me the beautiful, beautiful dopamine of that stock scream they used to have. I don't care if people say I loved Mind Over Mutant, and that is... Ugh. And that is great. I am always glad when there are people who can enjoy shit that I simply cannot. Ugh. This jump is really nasty with the N-Sane physics. Do you see the reoccurring trend is that the N-Sane physics struggle with holding jump momentum. There we go. So hey, you see that? You have the nitro destruction thing at the end of this path, even though this is an optional path. So if you want the gem, you have to play through the regular stage all the way, come back to the death platform, and then do the death route. just obnoxious backtracking shit you gotta do for 100%. I think Crash, I see someone mentioning it again. Crash the Titans and Mind Over Mutant, I think, are fine if you play them in co-op. That is the one thing I will give them. You can play them in co-op, and I think they're fun if you do that. They are still horrifically repetitive, as most mid-2000s beat-em-ups were. But, oh boy, playing as Crash and White Crash. I did enjoy myself. So, here we go. I mentioned that there are technically some gimmick levels in this game. These are them. When I was but a tot, I hated these stages. They can be very, very awkward to control if you do not know what you're doing. Obviously, they're floaty. That's sort of the entire point of them. So I can understand why people dislike them, but as I have played the game more and more, I do find myself enjoying them. I think they are different, not in a way that makes me completely fucking frustrated, like some of the Crash 3 stuff, and definitely most of the Wrath of Cortex stuff. Plus, just the music and the vibe and the cool factor in general of flying around on a jetpack really, really saves it. Bye-bye. Have you played the Scott Pilgrim versus the World game? It's pretty cool. I'm not sure what brought that up, but people in chat can tell you, people who have been here since the beginning. My very first successful video was about Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's very old. It's like fucking like 5 years old at this point. It's like 5 or 6 years old. It's a very, very old video. It's very bad. Hell, I made it when I was like half sick. It's short. It's just genuinely not good, but it just accumulated a shitload of views because it was when the game was still delisted. So the game was still like a lost game at the time I made that little video, and it just caught on. Not in the way Mega Man did. Like, it was definitely a gimmick video. Like, it got a couple 10,000s of views, but did not really help my sub count. I still had sub 1,000 subs before, you know, Battle Network 3 popped off. Are you into those arcade-style beat-em-ups? There's some of them I like. I wouldn't say I'm into them. Like, I don't seek them out. I haven't played a ton. but I have a handful that I hold close to my heart. My favorite arcade-style beat-em-up is probably one that I've never beaten, that I've been playing since I was a little kid. And that is a game called Rival Turf, which is part of a series of beat-em-ups that is not a series in America because every single one of them had their name changed. So, like, they feature the same characters and the same basic gameplay style, but for some reason, all 3 games have different titles in America, so their connection is just hidden. There's Rival Turf, and then Brawl Brothers, I think, is the second one, and then The Peacekeepers is the third one in America. Whereas in Japan, they're all called Rushing Beat, I believe. That game is super fun. There is nothing particularly deep about it or anything. It does have the best jump kick in beat-em-up history. That is not a debate. I will fight you over it. It is also super duper crushingly fucking hard. I have never beaten it. I have never beaten the final boss. I have played it almost my entire life, but I still love it. I believe it might be on Switch Online. I know the second and third games are. I don't know if Rival Turf itself is. If you're interested in trying it out. Alright, hey, you guys remember that thing I told you where I can sort of see because of my brightness? We're gonna have to take that into account. I'm gonna have to use my powers of having a monitor that's kind of bright. Steady now. Come back here, fucker. I gotta slide you. Okay, hold on. I'm getting close to my monitor so I can focus. Hey, there we go. Come on, are we back at the intersection yet? Don't mind me, fellas. Thanks for lighting the place up a bit. Oh, no, good thing I kept going back. Oh, fuck, I really wanted to use that on my way back forward. Okay, we're back at the intersection. Yay. Work our way back up. This is definitely the nastiest of the walking back towards the camera shit. For obvious reasons. You don't just have to walk back towards the camera, you also cannot see. And like I said, on PS1, this shit was basically pitch dark as far as I remember. I don't think you could see at all, even with your brightness turned up. Shit was just black. John, we need some of that SA2 darkness fix. Yeah, I'm so sorry you guys couldn't see any of that. Almost done. 2 levels left. Oh, on the subject, when I was talking about Rushing Beat earlier, at least it's not as confusing as the dozens of Kunio-kun games that came out in America but are all called completely different things. Yeah, so I've only played a couple Kunio-kun, or as they seem to have completely decided to call it, River City in the West now. But yeah, I know that that game is a complete mess in terms of localization. Just a complete mess in general, actually, in terms of its world and lore. To the point where I know there was... so, River City Girls, the first one, had an ending that nobody got. And people would just play the game, and they were just confused because they did not understand the point of the ending of River City Girls, because the ending was a joke about how weird and nonsensical and mixed up the lore of the Kunio-kun series is. So they ended up going back and adding a different ending later that people could actually understand. But yeah, it's been more consistent brand-wise recently. Like I said, they seem to have decided, because of River City Ransom, they seem to have decided to call it River City consistently. That reminds me, I've been meaning to play River City Girls 2. I've just been waiting for it to go on, like, a reasonable sale. I haven't checked for it in a while. Oh, whoa, we're okay. I misjudged that. My bad. I don't remember if touching the yellow shit on the walls here kills you, but I'm gonna be careful regardless. Those might just be lights, but I don't remember. Tasty, tasty camera right there. I cannot believe I got through both of those relatively painlessly. I was expecting to definitely get stuck and make an ass out of myself. You know, I wonder how many games have a completely different name that's a sequel to something. I know one, because people bring it up to me all the time because it's adjacent to Battle Network, and that is Lunar Nights, which is actually a Boktai game that just had its name changed entirely. So do you know about that one? I'm trying to think of any other examples. I'm sure there's a bunch of them, especially like back in the 90s and shit. Cough, cough, Ozzel. Yeah, where's Ozzel when you need him? Friendly neighborhood Boktai specialist. So, here we go. This is another level that I'm just traumatized by from speedrunning. So you can play the levels in any order in each warp room. That doesn't actually matter. But this is the last level in the game. So it is the hardest one. And it has a special gem path. Hold on, do I have... Oh, actually, never mind. I can't do this. I don't have all of them. I thought I did. I never went back for the red one because I didn't take the secret path to get the red gem. So I can't do this. Can I go back or do I have to die? I have to die. Okay, so this is like a super gem path because this is the last stage that you need all the colored gems to complete. We will not be doing that because I am missing one. Still want a Boktai collection? Hey, all Konami does anymore is release collections of their old games. You got a shot. I can't help but wonder if they would. Because you'd have to get rid of the primary gimmick, you know? Like, obviously people have been playing Boktai without the solar sensor for years, but I think it would be weird to release a collection and not be able to replace it with anything, you know? Oh yeah, they'd also have to localize Boktai 3. Also, I don't know if Boktai series sales ever, like if they would warrant a re-release. I don't know how Boktai sold. Like, obviously not very well in the West because they didn't bother with the third game, but... And then they tried to rebrand with Lunar Knights. Oh yeah, it's also attached to Kojima. So they might just not do it out of spite. Like, obviously they're doing Metal Gear stuff now, but I think they realize Metal Gear is just too much money for them to leave on the table. And even then, they're not really doing anything. They're just prettying up a game, or rather paying a studio to put... Did you guys see that fucking Nitro jump at me? Did you see that sneaky little bitch? How dare he? Anyway. Metal Gear is... I feel like they only touching Metal Gear because they feel like they need to. Because of its popularity. And again, they're not even making any new games. They're just porting shit and then remaking 3. They're not even changing the audio in 3. I don't know if you heard that they're gonna reuse the voice recordings from the original actors. Boktai sold very poorly in the West. Yeah, figured that. Lunar Knights, despite dropping the solar sensor, couldn't save it. Not surprised. I had never heard of Lunar Knights until I started looking into Battle Network history stuff. Okay. Is this solid? Do I bump into this? Doesn't matter. I burnt my toe instead. Those things can be really weird to spin. So these are like shrink ray things that kill you, and you can spin them away like you just saw. The problem is, I promise you, it just does not work 50% of the time. Even if you time it perfectly, N-Sane Trilogy or Original, sometimes he will just eat the attack and you'll die anyway. And it's very, very, very frustrating when you're trying to do the time trial.
%60 of the time, it works none of the time.
Stupid that Snake Eater Remake is called Delta because it's a triangle. Well, it's called Delta because 3. And Delta is a triangle because 3. It's got 3 sides. So, like, obviously, 3. That's how that works, right?
Yes! My plan is nearly complete. And I have you, Crash Bandicoot, to thank for it. Engine, what's happening?
You ever play Ukulele
Is she stealing our signal?
and the Impossible Lair?
Crash, Cortex
Seems like a good
isn't
match
letting
for
us
you.
crystals to contain the
I
planet's
have
energy.
actually never
He's
played
gonna
Ukulele and
harness
Impossible
the
Lair.
force
I played
and use it to
Ukulele
power the super Cortex vortex he's built
a
on his
long ass
space
time ago
station.
when it came out. I thought it was okay. It's not nearly as bad as everyone acts like it is, and certain internet critics would have you believe.
Don't let him have those crystals.
But yeah, no, it's definitely a bit of a letdown. They were too over-ambitious, I think, for the staff and the scope that they were capable of. They went too big on the levels,
Pardon the,
and it ended up biting them in the ass.
Crash, bring me crystals!
But Impossible Lair, I've heard nothing but good things about. All I hear is how Impossible Lair is a super duper cool Donkey Kong Country style game. And it is apparently very good, but I've just never gotten around to playing it. Yeah, oh no, Cortex betrayed us. Who could have seen this coming? So, final boss. I hope you learned how to do that jetpack thing, because you're about to need to do it, and you're about to need to do it well. This boss fight you can't see, there is no timer, but this boss fight is timed. Like, he is actually racing you to get to his machine. He will eventually reach, like, a teleporter area, and you will lose automatically if you have not beaten him by then. And trust me, Kid John saw that teleporter many a times. Many a times. And here we have, apologies. Another N-Sane edition. So N-Sane Trilogy added in the time trials, like I said. So to accommodate those time trials, they give you the Speed Shoe power, which is from Crash 3 Warped. This game does not have power-ups normally. The original version did not have any power-ups at all. So they gave you this one. I kind of wish they would have given you all the power-ups, just for fun. Like, be able to use all the Crash 3 power-ups in Crash 1 and 2, but they don't do that. Which is kinda disappointing. I'm sure people have modded it in by now into the PC version.
Me, Crash Bandicoot.
You have to solve Lex Luthor's maze, Superman. That's how you fly through rings, baby.
Crash, what do you suppose happened to Cortex? And what about the Cortex vortex? It's still up there.
Yep, there you go, that's it. That's all you get if you don't get 100%. That's the whole ending. Just a little, that's weird. Wonder what that's about. And then it's over.